Can you talk about your coach's job security given what's happened in the last 2 games?
Well, no one was here after the Boston game. We were 6-1-1 asking about his job security. We haven't done a good enough job the last 2 games as a group, coaches, players, management. We've got some things to work on, but we just need to get back to where we were a week ago.
How frustrated are you when you watch the last couple of games?
Last night was frustrating. It was, it's embarrassing as an organization to play that way at home. It's embarrassing to play that way on the road, but when you have people that have paid to come and watch and you play that way, it's difficult to swallow. But you can't lose sight of the fact that it's one game. We have to move forward. We can't dwell on it forever. We have to address the things that we did last night, which I think there were numerous failings, and prepare for tomorrow.
Why can't this group on a consistent basis stay within the structure?
It's something that we're going to have to continue to work on. Like I said, we talked about at the start of the year. Consistency is probably the biggest issue that we've had. It's not that we can't raise our level of play because we've seen the team do it. And that is, it's something that we have to do if we're going to have any long-term success. We have to get some consistency in our game. Like I said, over that 8-game period, we played some pretty good hockey against some pretty good teams. And we have to get back to that. It's not a league where you can take a week off, and expect your team to perform. We have to work hard at practice. We're not a good enough team to take nights off and expect points.
How patient are you prepared to be with this group?
As patient as we have to be. You can do a lot of damage to the long-term success of your team by overreacting. If there's a deal there to be made that helps us, then we'll do it. And if not, it's up to this group to get their play back to where it was. Again, it's not like we're asking them to do something they've never done before. We're asking them to play like they played 7 days ago. That shouldn't be too much to ask.
Is
What
that to say
point do you
there's
have
no
to tell
massive...
them that you are behind the coach and that's not going to happen, that's not going to change if they continue to play the way they do?
It's, we can always it's easy to put blame on the coach. It's the first thing that people talk about, the media, fans, whatever. As a group, we have to do a better job. Our players, I think, will tell you, I'm sure they've told you already, that they have to play better. And again, play like they played 7 days ago. We're not asking them to go back 12 months into their careers or 2 years or something that they haven't done before. We're asking them to play like they've played this year on a consistent basis. That's not something that should be looked at as unreasonable.
Is it message here that the change is not, significant change is not necessarily on the horizon? Fans to be patient with this group?
Well, we're going to be as patient as we have to be. So again, we're not going to make a deal just to make one. We're not going to do some things that maybe would look pretty or sexy, but would set our team backwards. We're not going to trade away a young player for an old one. That's not going to happen. We have to, again, just get back to where we were not too long ago.
You comment on Matt Bratton's situation?
Yeah, I met with Matt this morning. We put Matt on waivers. He hasn't played in a long time, and if we need Matt back in the lineup, it can't be with just weeks of practice. It has to be some game time in there. He was great about it. He actually wanted it to happen. He wants to be a part of the solution here, but he can't be just practicing. So he'll go down and play significant minutes for the Marlies.
A little disappointing considering you hoped he'd be part of the mix this year, full-time.
Well, I think so. I think just things started falling apart for him for whatever reason. His confidence never reached a level that it was when he was here last time. He knows that. He feels it. And he's just got to go down and get that back. He's not an old guy. He hasn't lost anything as a player. And I think he'll be back here.
Dave, a lot of stress on numbers, analytics. What are the numbers saying to you after the last couple of nights?
I'm not an analytics genius, but I think anyone would tell you that they didn't look good last night, and it didn't look great against Buffalo, and they looked very favorable during our 8-game stretch where we were playing well. The numbers that Kyle and the staff are cranking out, you guys could come up with them. After a game like last night, they're not telling you anything you didn't see. But there's certain trends that we have to fix.
Dave, is it unsettling that work ethic is cited as something that needs to be better by the players?
I think that's the first thing you can take care of.
Yeah.
That's the easiest thing to solve, is how hard you work and how hard you compete. So from that standpoint, it should be something we look at it as a positive. Not that we haven't worked hard enough, but that's something that we can solve immediately. And that's something that started today in practice, and and needs to carry forward tomorrow night.
Leaf fans have been patient for a long time, and they're growing frustrated. What do you say to the fan base?
I knew that question was coming, and I'm going to answer it, just as I told them I would answer it before. If you have a question directed about our hockey team, I'm happy to answer it. We have the best fans in the world, and then there's no two ways about it. They're most supportive. People talk about it being difficult to play here. I don't believe that. I think that the Toronto Maple Leaf fans are the best fans in professional sports, not just hockey.
How would you characterize the leadership and the character?
I think that as a group, I think it's easy to put all the onus on certain people. I don't think that's fair. I think as a group, we haven't responded to certain situations as well as we need to. And some of that is a work ethic. Some of that is maybe trying to do more than they should be doing. Keeping it simpler often would benefit more than trying to do too much. But I don't think it's fair to put it on one or two people. I think as a group, this team has to come together and understand that we're not going to be a team that can perform for 60 nights a year or 55 nights a year and expect to make the playoffs. We have to have a more consistent work ethic. And it doesn't mean that we're going to jump out and go on huge rolls. To me, it's about the process, and you have to play well and play hard. Tomorrow night isn't about a win or a loss for me. It really isn't. It's about performing at the highest level that we can. And if you do that on a consistent basis, you're going to end up with more wins than losses.